And so this is going to be another conscious mind conversation between Erin and myself about using this word correctly, and how to understand it and interpret it, as we try to figure out the challenge between, do we try to call upon someone who has been named as a connection to the satellite, or shall we not? And so we're going to see how that goes, and just let it flow and find out if he does want to have a message to humanity. So yeah, we're just going to explore that. Erin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Like, it's really interesting. I have to tell you this, and I did tell my client the other day, I had to share this with people, so I know I've got her permission to share this. So she had done a QHHT session a while back, and it didn't quite work out, and she didn't know whether she was blocking it or not. And so she gave me the scenario, which was the practitioner lived really remotely. And if I get this right, I'm hoping I'm getting this right. So the practitioner lived really remotely, and the practitioner also shared some very personal information about the practitioner itself and her life experiences, which were, it's really hard to talk about certain things to people. And I mean, my client, which was her client at the time, really should have just been supported and nurtured and been able to share all her life experiences and the things she went through. It really shouldn't be the practitioner sharing their personal stuff, because the client needs full support for them. And even if we can relate to their situations or want to share something, it's not really the time and place, considering, there's money exchanges, and, we're supposed to be just there for the client, not trying to, unload on them our own personal stuff. So anyway, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because when it came time to be able to get the client into a very deep state of relaxation, the practitioner wanted the client to hop into the practitioner's bed and snuggle down and get really relaxed. And I just
Nope.
Not your cup of tea. You don't want to come to my house, Erin, hopping in my bed.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, that's horrible. Like, shame on whoever that was.
My client's incredibly beautiful, amazing, and wonderful. I just adored her so much. Her journey has been incredible, and I just felt so proud of being able to just listen to her journey and hearing her growth. And I feel so lucky to be listening to the same sessions she has been and see how profound her growth and journey has been from these sessions and other stuff that she's been expanding her mind with. So cool. But I felt so sorry for her, because that was not probably what Dolores had hoped that people had to experience, hopping into bed with their practitioner, well, in the practitioner's bed, let alone, but it was interesting. But then my client, because she's so compassionate, was like, oh, I still paid her. I'm like, you're kidding. You paid for that? Like, I don't know, like people's comfort zones. The practitioner should always consider their clients first. That's just my, attitude and approach. And I would always try the best I can to be able to support my clients every which way. I do have intuition, and I do allow the guides to come in and support the clients, even if it just looks like me talking to them. I want to support them and give them the best use of my time and support, being a conduit of, different dimensional beings who are obviously getting these clients to my door. And I want to respect all as much as I can. And I just want to just say a few times where when when I've been channeling for some people, how it's really been quite, I don't even know what the word is, it puts me in a really interesting position. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because this is what Erin's concerned about with this person that we're going to be calling in soon for me to channel if he's open to it. Is that we heard in sessions he kept coming to Sally, and that he kind of made a connection with Sally and has been visiting her and has still since those sessions. So Erin's concerned that he may want to do this to her, and she's not interested in having a party like that. And so we're going to just call in Erin's subconscious first, just to see if she has protection and permission to be able to do that, because we want to, while it must sound to some people that this is just merely entertainment, these sessions, we do respect the high dimensional beings, we do respect the information. We want to honor this as much as possible, with as much consideration for all as possible. And so what I wanted to share was I was supposed to do a public session with someone who had questions. I had no idea what they were going to be, but she wanted to share it. She thought that it would be a really great public session to have. And so I trusted her and allowed her to ask my team and the collectives any questions that she had, thinking she's been listening to the sessions for a while, she gets it, and it really turned into her own personal private channeling needs and requirements, to the point where she started calling on family members who had departed. And while our own personal family members are really important to us, it's not really public interest, shall I say, with much love and respect. And so not only did she invite one family member to come in through my body energetically, she also asked another, so the second person in her family, to come through. And then the third family member she called on to discuss sexually violating children. I felt myself like this was a violation of my boundaries. I would have liked to.
It was.
Well,
it was a violation, big time.
I was really shocked, because there's no way that the public would have wanted to hear about three of her family members when it was all very personal conversations. And I just felt, and I have with quite a few people in the past, that many, it's like, I don't know whether they just think they're entitled to just use what I can do for their own benefit, without considering that I'm actually a person on the other side of this. And I really don't go looking for seeing violations of children. I don't. That is not something I would ever want to do or should be asked to do. And it was like, normally I feel comfortable after channeling for somewhere between half an hour and an hour, because it does take a lot of your own personal sort of energy and focus, and my day, remembering I've got lots of little children and other responsibilities. And this whole session was nearly 2 hours, and I just felt so violated, and it was a weird thing. It was, anyway, it is what it is. I learned from it. And so I really know the difference now between if someone needs to channel their own information versus me channeling their information, because when I have to channel information that is some tough love or some big truths, Erin, come on, sweetheart, let's just go back on a little journey. Remember when your subconscious was like, oh, the reason why you're like this is because sometime in your childhood you had a kerfuffle with someone and you got embarrassed and you never liked that. And so this is what's kind of formed the Erin that we love today. You remember how you were like, no, that's not possible. Like, I don't remember it.
They're like, all right, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah, you know nothing, subconscious, piss off. My ego and myself and not common sense are going to run and play in the park now. So like even just with that, Erin, like your subconscious was super loving you, trying to help you. And even just with that little thing, because you couldn't remember it, you instantly wanted to poo it and dismiss it and be like, well, this is, no, not possible. I don't remember it. And so, and I can feel your energy when I'm in channeling. And so I can feel what their message is, and I can also feel your energy. And so, it's already enough to kind of be channeling as I do. And then to feel the person asking questions in shock, embarrassment, anger, confusion, pissed off with me, because this is interesting. They don't see me as a person, but when they don't like the information, then they're blaming me, not the higher beings.
Yeah. Good luck with that thought process.
Well, did you forgive me when they said that you were bullied at school by someone?
Yeah. I was like, huh? Yeah. But
it wasn't even that they meant to like offend you. It was like you accidentally had done like you'd missaid something which really meant nothing, and then someone just corrected you as, I don't know whether they're sarcastic with it or it was just to try and be helpful, but it really kind of disheveled you, so much so that you never want to be wrong ever again.
Yeah, wasn't I literally just talking about this like 10 minutes ago too? Like, I haven't done enough homework for this. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So but it's with us, whether or not we remember it.
I forgot about that, I promise. And they wanted me to bring it up again to just remind people, because I don't know, was that even a public session or not?
Yeah, it was like, I was super confused, and I was like, well, if it was traumatic, why don't I remember it? And they're like, okay, well, we're high dimensional beings and you're wasting our time and you're not respecting us. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And what they knew was that I would take it like a big girl and get my shit together, and I did. Which others had the same response to whatever approach. I mean, and they literally asked for that session to be public, and I was like confused the whole time. I was just like, sounded like an idiot, but they're like, we want it to be public. I'm like, all right, you're the boss.
Taking one for the team. Yeah, it was
yeah.
I had totally forgotten about that, because the blessing of doing so much of this work is that I don't have the luxury of remembering everything until
there's
somehow,
no way you would.
Yeah, well, it's almost, I almost get afraid of like, God, if I can't remember everything, how can I all put all these pieces together and all that sort of stuff? And quite often these sessions are none of my business. They're actually my clients' sessions for their business, and I can totally own that and respect that. And I love this work, and we know that the subconscious would never give us any more information that we can handle, even though some people think that if they come and have a channeling session with me, it's going to be, you are a unicorn of beautiful gifts to humanity. You've never done anything wrong. You are amazing. We love you, love you, love you. I mean, that would be what I would sort of say is, that's a positive medium, someone that just wants to give you the positive sides of life, not your life contracts and what your karma is, and actually what you have to learn and grow from. And if you've been like dishonest to yourself and not really seeing what's going on around you, well, we've all seen and heard my subconscious getting shitty and angry. And it's not me, I promise it's not me. But when they have got the universe together or done whatever they've needed to do behind the scenes to get a client to see me and to have this connection in a session, and when that person is wanting to have a channeling session with me versus a quantum session where it's given through them in a beautiful way from their own subconscious, My subconscious is like, I'm not going to just sit here and boost your ego with fluff at this time of humanity right now. Like there is so much other stuff that needs to be acknowledged. And my subconscious is not going to sit there for an hour saying, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're special. I'm going to say 17 different star systems that you're all part of. And, then do some light language just to make you feel special. Like that is not ever been my subconscious's role. That would be misusing it. And, like there's a lot. And I know that some people don't really understand that when I'm channeling, I'm feeling those emotions. And you can hear sometimes when I get really overwhelmed with certain things, it's because it's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm not a performer. I'm not a monkey for anyone, and I'm certainly not a brand, and I'm not a product. And when people are trying to peer pressure me to give them information that they feel entitled to, this is a great opportunity for you to do more honest inner work.
Yeah, big time.
So maybe I'm just learning my boundaries. Maybe I'm just,
Nope, you're a baby bulldozer and you're making Mama Bulldozer proud. Let's kick it into high gear.
Yeah. And so then I want to, just talking, this has popped into my mind. It is about those people that we perceive as being really spiritual, or some people who really believe that they are quite spiritual and quite tapped in, and they don't understand why they've completely bottomed out. They're completely in fear, angry, pissed off with the world, and a whole lot of other things. And they kind of feel like it's just suddenly, it might be from that breakup, or it might be from, the lockdowns, or, Mercury retrograde, whatever excuses and labels they want to justify that they're in a really low vibrational space. And I love when people can be honest about their low vibrational spaces that they just cannot get rid of. I'm certainly not one person to be like, oh my gosh, it sounds like you've been possessed by demons. Let me do a spiritual ritual for you for $1,000, which needs to be repeated every fortnight. I do PayPal. No, I don't want people, because that's just disempowering others to think that you're vulnerable victims. And a part of being embraced and empowered is raising your vibrations by yourself, and knowing the difference between enabling yourself and empowering yourself. When you're blaming other people, you're definitely enabling a victim mode and disempowering yourself. So there's a fine line. So for those people who are trying to convince their friends that they have, I'm totally spiritual, I get it all, I'm just in this really bad funk for the last 2 years or whatever. The reality is, just because you use the language of spirituality and you've read some books and you do some spiritual practices, that is great and wonderful, but there is actually no physical and practical application of what you're teaching and learning. And so while you may sound like you are grasping and you are very comfortable with spirituality and the concepts of it, if you have not applied the information you are learning and even speaking about, it's not a case of, suddenly I've just dropped down into this real density. You've always had that density, but you try to boost yourself up with just using empty words because there was no actual follow through with that. And so, we have seen it ourselves with people that love the concepts of these sessions, but when they actually have to apply it, and that's the hard part, right? It's all easy words to hear and listen to, but when you actually have to physically and emotionally and regularly apply the information, that's where the hard work comes from. And the work is hard work, especially when you're ignoring it, because it doesn't go away. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you really see the big monster in the room that is getting your attention to actually overcome your crap.
And we can tell, as a consumer of content of this nature, we can tell. We can tell. It doesn't, it's not, I mean, literally everyone who's intuitive can tell who's blocked right now. And they're not posting, they're not doing much right now at all either. I wonder why that is. But we can tell. It's obvious.
I mean, we can love the crap out of everyone, and whoever is in fear, we can love them more than their level of fear, but we're not to buy into their fear, and we're not to ignore their fear and then just go, wow, they're just at that level, just respect them at that level, everyone's at their own journey, blah, 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 blah. Often we must be able to support people out of fear by actually talking about their fear. And many people don't want to be honest to their friends and actually be able to give them wisdom that is going to help them. We can't do their inner work for them, but we can definitely support them with talking about the things that they're doing and that they're exhibiting to us and showing us through their words and actions how their emotional range is. And it's challenging. We all have challenging people in our lives that need various different support, but we can love them regardless. And if they are in fear, make sure that our love for them is more overwhelming to them than their love of fear. And so, there's so much to be said there. And I trust that many people are taking their inner work responsibly and, with respect, knowing that the more inner work that they can do, they can help others. And so we have to drop all the judgment, drop all the labels, just see each other as extensions of self and love, 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 love each individual person as they are needing to be loved and supported, knowing the difference between loving someone so much that they don't do any of their own inner work. Because when people look like victims and they're telling you many things that confirm that their belief system about themselves is that they are victims, no one wants to give a victim tough love. You just want to nurture and support and love and love and love and love and love that person who's getting off being the victim and you feeding the victim. And many people can't see that, unfortunately. And what victims do is drain others because they're not willing to step up and empower themselves. And those victims who are spiritual, they know very much what they're doing. And so, there's some great sticking points, but fantastic triggers there and some fantastic lessons there. So we all celebrate those triggers, to be honest, because the triggers don't lie and neither does the subconscious. And that's what I love about the subconscious is that they do not lie.
No, they don't. And they will not talk to you if you are, if you need to be triggered. So, yeah.
Well, the subconscious,
with much love. I mean, tough love is love. And they know that's how I feel. That's the response I got. And guys, tough love is love for your friends too. Stop feeding into it is the moral of this story. Stop feeding into it. And there have been several people who were on this, I was friendly with, we were on this path together. We were all excited and I don't know, they're in a loop. And the best thing I could do is not contribute to their looping. Like, I'm not going to continue to repeat the same thing if they're not working on it. I am here for them if they want to actually apply what we've been taught, but I'm not going to be a part of the problem for myself or for them. So tough love means just, I'll let you figure that one out. I'm not going to continue feeding it.
Yeah. And that is the best love you can give them, because otherwise you're just endorsing their refusal to see that this is their inner work that they need to overcome. And yes, we can get stuck in certain ways, but after all of this time listening to these sessions, there's no true excuses why people are not growing at a profound rate, because my client the other day, and lots of my clients who have been listening to this, God, like it's impressive. Like they get like Olympic gold stars for how much they have grown from this work. And it can just be, really short amount of time where it's like everything's clicked into place. I am applying everything all the time. It's not just this hobby. And it's, I don't know, I just think so many people are impressive. I don't have ownership of this work, so I'm not like ego. It's more like, oh my God, these people are amazing.
No, it's incredible. They are.
Yeah.
So amazing.
And this is the thing, like people know it's amazing, but yet then they make those choices not to share the content because they don't know how to process it, And I mean, when I started listening to this information, I didn't know how to process it either. So it's not a unique thing.
Yeah.
But when I had a client and they were on the new earth and they were experiencing people coming onto the new earth who they knew, and they had that kind of conversation about, so you knew this information, but you didn't share it with me because you thought I was going to judge you. And it's kind of like, think about yourself on the new earth and looking at your behavior now here, knowing what we can see physically. There's so many physical, so many physical signs, not just with our physical bodies, but, with this planet, to give you good insight into, what stage we're at. And if people haven't read Dolores Cannon's work, I mean, you should, because it also confirms information that I just read for the very first time, like this month. And so, Convoluted Universe, book 3 highlights so much DNA manipulation and created diseases. And that book was in 2008, and that is preciously talking about our current life right now.
So incredible.
Cool.
I do want to respect your time. Do you have 20 or 30 minutes left?
Cool. Well, thank you for respecting my time. Look at you just listening and learning. You're just like gold star student, like right at the front. Like
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Well, 20 or 30 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yes, like I have to go pick up the girls from preschool. Oh my gosh. Okay, so just real super quick. We've had 3 tooth fairy experiences now, and the first one got $5, the second one got $5, and then like a little charm bracelet, or not, like just a little charm from like a necklacey piece thing. Oh my God, no, because the first one only got $5, the second one got $5 and some bling, like this tiny little heart charm thing. And so then another tooth was lost. And so then they're trying to figure out what was the difference between the first tooth fairy visit and the second tooth fairy visit. Was a picture that the tooth fairy was given. So therefore we had to create another tooth fairy picture. And then, we like, oh my God. Anyway, my partner goes and gives the tooth fairy, $5. And then he puts in this other charm that sort of matches it, not the same. And so now there is this discrepancy between one charm that has just a hole in the charm, which is a pink heart, and then there is another charm which has a blue star, which has like a little eyelet thing to it, which is like some sort of fastening. It's the most tiniest details, but in my world, in my household, shit's getting real.
Wow, you guys they're rocking and rolling.
I mean, twin life, like they don't want things to be the same. When things aren't the same, holy crap. Anyway, so yeah, just giving you my
Well, my 5-year-old's still jealous, and I still haven't told him because I would never hear the end of it.
Oh my God. And so I just wanted to say also weirdly, when I sit on this chair, It's quite noisy when I move around, so I try not to move too much, and I know my head makes all this noise. The other day, I moved on my chair, and I promise you, it sounded like a fart, and I promise you, it was not from my body. It was definitely the chair, but I was like, oh, that's embarrassing.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. I would have totally made fun of you if I had.
Okay, well then I just confessed.
You're good.
I'm moving my chair. But no, it was seriously embarrassing. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm human, obviously, but it's still, yeah. So anyway, and it did make me laugh when they mentioned you yesterday, because I had no idea what they were going to say, because I had some time where I could just
know.
and I felt like I haven't actually channeled for ages. I wonder what they want to say, if anything at all. And then they just came through with that information, and I had totally forgotten that you were not feeling very well, and it made me laugh. But they also
it made me laugh too.
But they also knew that they would give you comfort, and you could stop worrying about it.
Yeah. No, no, I'm not upset. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm glad to know. So I was like, am I done with food now? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, no, I appreciated the message.
Okay, sorry. Okay, enough about personal lives. Great. And so there, I'm just going to connect in. I'm going to call in your subconscious, Erin. And you're saying,
and then we have 15 or 25 minutes.
Yeah. So I've got it's 13 minutes past 2 here. So it's cool. We will be fine. We've got 30 minutes. So
30 minutes. Okay, good.
Okay, so he's coming in and he's saying, yes, I'm here, and she knows I'm always with her, and it is correct. The person that asks questions isn't actually connected to him energetically, and so we will be asking on behalf of you, Erin, questions that you want. And so there is a buffer of energy, and he is not meaning to send anyone harm. He is genuinely quite interested. But this is another lesson for you, Erin, to remember that there are different beings that are curious. Just because they look different from you, he's saying, not everyone is 6 foot, blonde and gorgeous, he's saying. He's wanting to boost you up. And so anyone that looks different to you, and you know this, he's trying to say, you've been asking to show us ourselves. And while we did show ourselves to you, you're going to start getting curious about seeing others. This is not to say you will see him, and this is not to say that you'll be exposed to anything that would upset you. Remember, we have told you many times, we do not want you to be bothered with anything else. In fact, we've been taking away distractions from you left, right, and center. And so why would we allow this to happen? It is and has been purposeful for Sally to be able to have that connection with that reptilian, to be able to offer it love, because she has pure compassion. While it is scary for her to even see these things, and when she is busy in her 3D life, suddenly to be confronted with this vision, it can take someone step back, their breath back. You know, it can be a sudden thing. And we wanted to be able to use this opportunity to say, so many of you are asking for proof, show us. And we say we give you exactly what you're ready for. And so those people who are trying to force us to do things that you're not ready for, you know, there's a purpose and a reason. We do not give you more than you can. And we know you beg and say, I'm ready. And we say, we still know you're not. And we want to say, it is like you're trying to convince us that you've done all your inner work, not you, Erin, but people in general. You're trying to convince us that you've done all your inner work, and therefore you're big, masterful beings, and you're just really, truly your higher self, and you're so special and fantastic. And we say, yes, you are special, but you are also not ready. And so we say, with much love and kindness, most of you know that you have been trying to skip and avoid some of your inner work. And we say, if motivation to be able to let us expose ourselves to you is what you need, get on with your inner work, then maybe focus on what you're here for, focus on what you're supposed to be doing with much love, and then see how much rewards you get when you actually do your work. There is nothing that can help you avoid your work. And we are almost as stubborn as you, not doing your inner work. We will not be giving you what you have been needing when it's not necessary, and it is almost at mere entertainment point. If you don't believe in us enough and that you need physical proof of us, there's great inner work there. Many of you can't handle it because your physical bodies react to it. So why would we put extra strain on you? Why would we put trauma onto you? We don't do that thing. We are not playing with humanity or you at the moment. We're actually trying to assist. So for many of you who are trying to get our attention, to give you things that you do not quite deserve yet, check your agenda. Check the purpose of why you are connecting in with us. Because we know very well, and it is cute for you to think that you can hide your agenda and your true intentions with us.
Yeah, nope, not possible. Okay, great. So, so now would be a good time for me to connect in with his subconscious.
No, you're not connected in with his subconscious. We are. And so you're going to be asking him questions. And so,
oh, I see.
I
like that plan. So I ask you the questions. So I ask you the questions, and then you relate to him.
Mm-hmm. We often take these. It's purposeful the way that we do this. It gives great vantage points for many reasons. And so,
are there any questions that you would like me to ask that aren't on my list?
You will be prompted to ask different questions and more and slightly different, but that is fine. We want you to embrace your intuition, Erin, as you're doing so well with it, and trust every question you ask is the most appropriate, and stop judging yourself for what you do say and what you don't say.
Okay. Rock on. Okay, so should I call him in, or do you guys got that too?
He's already here, and he's confused a little bit why he is here. He feels like he's been summoned. And so we will connect him in.
Okay.
I am confused why I am here. But I am here, so what do you want?
We wanted to see if you would like to speak with us today. We are aware that you're curious about this and want to see if you have any messages for us.
Well, what is this? First, how have you...
Friends in high places.
Okay.
And we wanted to give you the opportunity to speak and to interact with us if you're open to it.
Well, I am open to talking to... Are you saying high dimensional beings?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to know if you have any questions for humanity right now, in general.
You wanted me to know if I have any questions for humanity?
No, if you have any comments for us, if you have any messages for us.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
If I could hit, if this was an opportunity where I could speak to all of humanity, what would my words be?
Yes.
Well, my words would be that I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty confident with my team and my skill sets to be able to get better connections and to get better services for humanity. And so you can rest assured that I have got the hopes that humanity will be better with all of the services that I can provide. I'm trying to figure out what is the needs for humanity to be able to then provide that service. And so I'm trying to think outside the box to be able to figure out, well, what is the best way and the most efficient way to be able to help humanity advance itself in terms of technology and a whole lot of other communication things, because I feel that the best thing for humanity would be to be able to communicate with each other. I would like to have more connections with others, more myself, but there is a disconnect, I think. And so maybe it's because I haven't had much direct communication at a personal level, deep and meaningful conversations. But I feel that advanced technologies would be able to help uh, teach us or improve us if we have any personal blocks of communication, that advancements in our technology would help bridge that gap.
We are aware of the laser that is on one of your satellites. So, yes, I understand you have worked quite a bit in different industries, communication included. But with this audience, we are aware of the laser and wanted to know if you wanted to speak on that.
Well, as I want to help humanity, I want to be able to also protect humanity. And so this was part of a protection system to be able to help humanity if there was a threat of space junk. And we were aware that there is a lot of space stuff that is out there that can cause havoc. So it was a plan to be able to eliminate that to protect humanity. And this is part of the service that I wanted to be able to help humanity with. I wanted to be able to clear out the clutter, be responsible for what we're putting up there. And also we know that there are many close big objects that can come in and we don't quite know what they are, but we want to be able to protect this planet and humanity if they got so close they could impact us. And so this seemed like a logical first defense for this planet and for humanity to have such technology.
So, space junk, such as the car that you put in space as a joke, or the laser on a satellite that you put on as a joke. This audience is aware of these things, and the laser scare that you did a week and a half ago trying to rile up humanity. We're aware of those things.
But it was also just to sort of test out certain consequences, exploring a little bit. And the fact that no one had put a car out there, why not? Why can't I be the first one to do things like that? I do so much more for humanity. Why can't I just do these things for promotion and to just have these highlighted moments in my life where I get to choose and do things that no other person gets the opportunity to do.
Well, you were just discussing about how you were helping humanity by objects in space that could hurt humanity if it came into the Earth's orbit or near the Earth, and that's why it's necessary to have a laser, but you're also responsible for putting extra things out there. Would you like to take accountability for that?
I do put things out there, but that's to help humanity. But I also know that there's much more other things out there that is not my creations and my doing. And so I feel like the protection system that is up there also is helping humanity.
We are also aware that you're aware of the laser event that will be happening due to a malfunction. So we're giving you the opportunity to talk about this. If you like, the floor is yours. I would like to hear from you. Not to paint you out a guy, but because I would like to hear your perspective and check in and see how you were doing.
So his subconscious has stepped in, Erin, because the man doesn't know, but his subconscious does know the events that are taking place. And this is where you've got the disconnect.
Oh, okay.
So you were talking to a younger version of him. And so it wasn't, say, today's man. It wasn't in your perception of time past. And so he was being accountable for his actions and his genuine thoughts of what he was doing to humanity. He actually did want to help humanity. He wanted to say to you that he has children here. He wants to protect this planet and humanity for not only just him, but his children and the people that he does care about. And so we've received that consciousness because in his awareness, he at that point, he did not know about the events of what the laser would turn into and how it could be harmed against humanity, nor is he allowed to consciously, because he is not a monster. He is not responsible for the laser attack in terms of the event of the laser and the malfunction of it. It's not him pushing the button. You hold people who create guns accountable for every murder a gun has done. No, you do not. And so we ask you to have a different perspective against this person, because it's not the person who is doing this. Remember, the collectives have all been aware of what needed to happen to humanity to be able to awaken them, to be able to get their final attention of how far and how, I wanted to say wrong, but it is not wrong. There's different lessons for experiences. So therefore, when everyone leaves this planet and has their other, in quotation marks, future lives, these lessons will be learned and not repeated.
I understand what you're saying. Why was I talking to someone from 15 years ago? And why was I talking to the version of him?
Because that is when he was starting to do the plans for the laser.
I'm not sure where to go with this conversation then. I'm talking to Elon Musk from 15 years ago. Where would you like me to go with it?
We have receded him because he was very confused why he was here. And it's like he was having a normal day, and then he went into a daydream as he was experiencing this. And so however long minutes you experienced that conversation with him, Erin, it was for him a weird moment of blank. And so it was different for him. He's not able to remember that, nor do we want him to remember that. And so the conversation you can have is with us. And we are back more with the Victorians now. You feel comfortable and safe. You're not going to be accountable for this connection. You're not going to be impacted negatively by this connection. But you wanted to understand the motives for this and for understanding this man more. And we're trying to say to you, he is not the person who is responsible for this destruction. Humanity's actions have all led to this point.
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat like the last 15 seconds? I'm having phone problems.
It is not one person's blame. And we'd like to remind you about Hitler. And he did not kill all of those people in concentration camp. We don't even want to say that word because we don't energetically want to tap into that right now. You know the role that that one person had. He did not kill those millions. People were following orders, and there was a lot of history that you're not aware of that actually took place there. And so we are asking those who want to be angry with that one man to stop and understand the lessons there and understand what humanity has got to at this point because of their choices. Your choices have impact. I'm not talking to you, Erin, specifically. We're talking to everyone. Your choices have impact. We're speaking to you, choices. Your choices have and will always have impact. Therefore, while you're not responsible for other people's emotions, you're responsible for your choices that you are making as a person here living on this planet now with the information that you know now. And we're watching you making these choices moving forward. And from our perspective, many people are holding profound information and choosing not to step up and apply it or do anything with it. And so, what roles are you going to play to help humanity at this moment? What choices are you going to do to help support humanity at this moment? Or do you feel entitled and justified to do nothing but hate someone because you perceive that you're entitled to hate someone because they've created something that's going to be impacting humanity? Choices. We suggest not the blame game. We suggest and recommend empowering yourselves, loving yourselves, and supporting everyone who is in fear right now. Because as you're noticing when you're looking around you, there is only fear is the only thing that has been sold. And we know that many of you love to consume that. We understand that you wanted to have a more serious conversation with that man, Erin. And as we said, it was always going to be the most appropriate conversation to have with him. And once again, our friend, you have given many people brilliant lessons and examples for. We don't want you to go into worry and doubt that you are not playing your role, because you played it perfectly and you are that bigger being. To be realizing that sometimes when you're of service, you have to be confused, you have to be humble, and you have to be willing to be of service, which you always are. So you did your job beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Joe is got to get out the door, but we so appreciate you guys. Do you have any quick final comments?
We just wanted to say it was our words commenting on your beauty and height and hair, and we do not want to make you think that that was Joe. She feels awkward, but she's like, I would give you a compliment. I would give you a compliment, but it was them genuinely. I'm not trying to say anything creepy or weird.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you guys.
Our final message to you is be with love, go with love, always feel love. Love is the key. There is nothing else but love. And if you're finding yourself out of any of that love, high frequency, your responsibility to find it back. And so off you go, hunt for love. It's looking for you, and it's a beautiful game of hide and seek.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, I'm back. Honestly, when they talked about your height and your blonde hair, and I was like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing.
No, you're fine. I think they were just trying to make me feel comfortable. And then at the end, I was like, I fucked that up. I was like, why did they tell me I was sick? Anyway, and they're like, so they rest assured. So okay, good. So I'm glad they said that, because I was like, well, fuck.
It was so strange because I could feel him coming in, and honestly, like he was giving my face wrinkles, because it was like he was so confused, and like the burrow, like the forehead was all like crinkly, and I've never had that experience before. I'm like, why am I like scrunching up my face? And I was like,
weird.
What am I here? Why am I here for? And he was so confused when it was like, first of all, he was like, oh, you know about the laser. Huh, that's interesting. But there's no way. I was scanning his consciousness. There's no way he was like, ha ha ha, I knew about it too, and it's going to harm humanity. Honestly, he was like, yeah, that's like, he almost was like, yeah, you're welcome. I'm protecting humanity. Like he did not have a consciousness of it being an impact in a negative way. I promise you he doesn't.
That was so confusing, because I thought I was talking to the present day one who's stalking Sally. So I'm like, you just admitted to knowing about it. So stop with the sales pitch. We already know about it. So anyway, that was it. I mean, all purposeful, they said. But I'm like, what?
But I feel like the 10, 15-year-old older version of him, like from 10 years ago or whatever, that may have been when he was himself. I don't know if he is truly himself anymore, shall we say.
No.
I don't know whether his subconscious has come in to make sure he does what he's supposed to do, because as we know, the history of this planet has the laser event in it. It used to be called the solar flash. It used to be called an asteroid. Many people have different names for it. We don't care about the names. We know that it's going to be happening one way or another, one location or another. You know, we've heard this. Of course, no one wants to believe it, and I love that. No one should believe it. You know, it's yeah. You know, so but it's so interesting, because I feel like it's so important, and that position is so important. There was, I kind of feel like he had to play that role and create that for this purpose. But then, you know, weird timelines, you don't know. I don't know. The whole thing's quite intriguing, but He just was incredibly confused why he was here, Erin. It's like we kidnapped him for that 30-second. Not when they showed me that it was like he was just doing his day job, had like a little zone out moment, and just said, well, weird, and then just continued on like a snap freeze daydreamy thing. So we only kidnapped him for that little bit.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. So I guess the whole purpose was people are like fixated on him and like now are just like mad at him and using all this high dimensional like frequency stuff they're saying to us to be pissed off at him.
Well,
right?
Potentially everyone who's been listening about the laser event, has got beautiful balance, harmony, and they've understood why the laser has to happen. But then maybe secretly people are like, if I see him, I'm gonna like pinch him, or like punch him, or I'm gonna send him like angry little memes in my mind to like whatever.
Yeah.
We're still human. We still love to judge the shit out of each other if we have an opportunity and a reason, right? So, find your neutral with this. Respect everyone has a certain role. We love the heroes, don't we? But we hate the villains, supposedly. They both have super valid roles. And so while we can be mature with our judgment now, love ourselves for that lesson, we just had a group lesson and we aced it, by the way. So, yay.
Are you sure it was good? I was like, I'll listen back and I'll hear it again. I'll be like, okay, it was purposeful. Because I was like, I certainly haven't been like, oh, I fucking hate Elon Musk. I'm still buying stuff off Amazon.
You consumer.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah, bigger purpose.
So when they were saying that you're loving commercialism and materialism, they were talking just to you.
Neutral and what?
when they were talking about commercialism and materialism, were they only just talking about you, Erin?
Did they say that in this session? I don't remember what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, I love being able to find small windows during our busy days. I know you work, I know you've got kids, blah, 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 blah. So when we do have these opportunities, I love that we can record these so others can be part of this journey too and find out the very interesting things that we get to learn on the side. So thank you for being the brave hero for this today.
Yes, absolutely. And then once again, I forgot we were still recording, so whatever.
Put your clothes back on here.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm still wearing my fluffy robe like I always am. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye everyone. I hope you found something amusing and find your joy. Bye.
Bye.